Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Stephanie. I am a life and relationship coach. We are going to dive into a topic that I know hits home for a lot of us out there that have been through really painful relationships and narcissistic relationships, and we're going through this really tough breakup or this divorce. Letting go of the what could have been story is extremely difficult to do, especially when this relationship and this person really did have a lot of the things that were on your list. Maybe you thought this person was the love of your life. Maybe you thought this person was your soulmate. You had great chemistry. There were just things that you had never had before in another partner that now you have had. And so it really heightened or raised the stakes of what you're actually losing now. After a breakup, it is very common to romanticize the relationship, especially when you're dealing with a narcissistic one, because there was love bombing that happened throughout the course of that relationship. Getting stuck in the what ifs is very common. We imagine how life could have been if we had just done something a little differently. Maybe if I was healed, maybe if I didn't nag, maybe if I was this type of person, maybe if they didn't do this, if these things would have just been tweaked a little bit, we could have actually been really happy. It's really easy to get trapped in that kind of narrative. Replaying those moments, second guessing your decisions, second guessing your behaviors at times in that relationship. We, of course, really are convincing ourselves that we lost something that's absolutely irreplaceable. And to top it off, we're not really thinking about all the things that we did not get from this person, that this person was not able to ever give us. We're staying mentally and emotionally tied to this person because we're not really looking at this relationship through clear eyes. We're just really fixating on the amazing things that maybe happened in the relationship or the things that you did have in that relationship that you had never had before. When you finally get something that you've never had before, that will absolutely keep you stuck if you are not aware that that's the case. Because if you're getting something that you've never had before, you're going to cling to it. You're going to put it on a pedestal, and by putting it on that pedestal, you're making it bigger than what it actually is. Not to downplay relationships and not to say that maybe what you had with someone wasn't absolutely amazing at times, but you do have to also face the reality of the type of relationship that you were in and not just solely romanticizing the relationship. That's where a lot of people really mess up, is they romanticize that relationship way too much instead of being honest with themselves on what that person, yes, maybe contributed that was great, but also what they weren't able to give that you really needed. Now, I know you're in pain, and I know that you are here because you did once feel something that was absolutely amazing. Now, of course, you're just grieving the death of that relationship, which of course is called heartbreak. But what you're doing that's not helping the heartbreak is the rumination. The first step to really letting go and kind of moving on is accepting the reality of what's in front of you. And that takes practice, that takes time, and that takes grieving, because we don't just accept something in the minute we logically understand what's happening. You logically understand what's happening, but your heart hasn't really caught up to your headspace. It's a hard pill to swallow that what has happened was supposed to happen, that the past has already been written and we can't really change it. A lot of people will struggle with just even hearing that concept because they just have to grieve. If this person really was your soulmate, you would not be here. If this person really did make you happy and you made them happy, you wouldn't be here. And that's another tough pill to swallow, that you maybe didn't really make them happy at times, that they weren't happy in the relationship, that they didn't feel satisfied. That was something for me that was hard to face. It was hard to face the reality that this person just didn't want to be with me. They didn't love me the way that maybe I loved them, or maybe they just didn't love me at all. And that's not something easy to really accept. Acknowledging that you're at the end of this chapter with this person, of course, is sad and it's extremely painful, and there's mourning and grieving involved, absolutely. But it doesn't also erase all of the good times that you had with that person. And of course, you're going to grieve in just me saying that to you. Because what's really happening is change is happening. And maybe the change is not even something that you wanted, nor did you ask for. And that's when we really feel out of control, and where we can get stuck in blame or bitterness or anger or sadness for a really long time is when we didn't make that decision. When we don't make decisions, or life makes it for us, or the other person makes it for us, it's sometimes a harder pill to swallow because we just don't have control of the situation. One way to really start practicing acceptance is by journaling, just writing down what happened, what went wrong, why it didn't work out, what you could have done better, what that person could have done better, how you've changed now because of that relationship for good and maybe even for bad. What's the trauma now that you're facing? When you put these things down on paper, it's a really powerful exercise because it allows you to see what's going on in your mind. And when you can see something, you can approach it differently. When you're just kind of enmeshed in your mind and your mind is ruminating and thinking and you're going from sad to bitter to angry to pain to maybe joy here and there, it's a little bit harder to kind of organize your thoughts so you can help yourself to start moving forward logically and mentally, but also to help your heart and soothe it emotionally. You have to stop idealizing this person. Yes, there were many things that this person had that they maybe brought to the table that you had never had before, and that's absolutely amazing. But you cannot be putting them on a pedestal that they just shouldn't be on. When you're hurting and you're in pain, it's easy to go to all the things that went right in the relationship. You don't want to add more fuel to the fire. So you're just ruminating and circling and fantasizing this person and this relationship and all the great things that they brought to the table. But I want you to be honest with yourself, because if it didn't work out, then there is a reason why it didn't work out. Maybe they have the laundry list of all the things that you did wrong, and maybe your list isn't as long, but here's one really important thing that should be on that list. If that person doesn't want to be with you, if that person doesn't love you, then that's not the person for you. Instead of focusing on the potential that relationship had, the potential that person had, because they did bring some really valuable things to the table, what I want you to do is I want you to actually focus more on what it is that you're looking for in a partner, focusing on the whole partner in general, not just these specific things that they brought to the table. Amazing. If they brought some things and they checked off some boxes, great. Those are going to be the same things that you're going to move into going forward when you're looking for your next partner. But if you're honest, you'll probably start to not value as much some of the things that they did bring to the table because they didn't really bring a lot, especially if this relationship didn't work out. If this relationship didn't work out, then that means that on some levels, and I know that this is painful to hear because it was for me as well, this person didn't respect you, they didn't value you, they didn't value what you brought to the table, they didn't maybe even love you in the way that you love them. And that doesn't mean that you're broken or that there's something wrong with you because they didn't see your worth or they didn't love you. No, not at all. You're dealing with two wounded people. You're dealing with your own wounds, your own fears, your own insecurities that made you even attracted to this person. And you're dealing with that person and all of their wounds and insecurities. And if you're dealing with someone who's narcissistic, there's a lot of stuff there that you ignored. Reclaiming your power and really starting to actively move forward is about shifting your focus. You're shifting it from what was lost to what now you're going to get. And you can only really do that when you do this exercise, do this outline of who the person is now that you know you want, that you know you deserve. Once you really have that outline and you compare that to your last partner, you'll realize that while, yes, of course, we all lose some things, we didn't lose that much. And what we could possibly gain now is going to be way more than what we lost in that previous relationship. What you're feeling is just heartbreak, and change isn't always fun. Remember, this is a process and it sucks. And I wish, look, if I had the magic pill that you could just take and like erase all of this pain, I would be, I won't say billionaire, but I don't. It is a process that we all have to go through as human beings. Healing does not happen overnight. It is literally each step that you are doing along the way. It is being able to have these conversations in your head and balance both logic and emotion. Because logically, you understand probably what went wrong. You understand this person. You've already put labels on them. You've already put labels on yourself. I'm codependent. They're narcissistic. So logically, you're starting to understand why this actually happened. But emotionally, maybe you just haven't caught up yet. And a lot of the reasons why emotionally we're still hurting inside is one, it is just part of the process of change and grieving and heartbreak. But the other part is the idealizing and the fantasizing and the ruminating and thinking that if you guys would have stayed together, this would have been the absolute most amazing relationship ever. And that's just not the case. And I know you know that inside. You may be at this place where you're even ready to do this exercise, or maybe not. Maybe you're still in a significant amount of pain and you can't even fathom your life yet, dating or another partner or anything like that. But when you are ready, it is very important that you start really visualizing your future now. You're creating a vision for your future that doesn't include your ex. Again, I know that that's painful because this is not something that you ever thought you would ever even be doing at this point in your life. I completely understand that. But here's the thing that I want you to remember, and this is what I used to always tell myself as well, is we don't know what happens after this, right? Like, we don't know if this is the one go around that we have. Like, we have absolutely no idea. And life is pretty fast. Even though we think it's this long, drawn out process, it happens very fast. So if life is happening very fast, and if this possibly is our one shot, you're going to waste the rest of your life continuously mourning a person who is unhealthy, could never really see you or value you or love you, which, by the way, none of those things have to do with you. It doesn't matter how much trauma that you have from the past or how many people disappointed you previous to even that relationship or how much you've been through throughout the course of your life. This is about you waking up today and deciding that the rest of your life is going to look a lot different. But the only way that can look different is by working on yourself. Your ex was a part of your journey, but they were not your entire book. They were a chapter. They would have always been a chapter. Even the great love of your life has not been in your life your entire life. These are chapters of your life. You absolutely have the power to move on, and moving on is a practice, and it's a step-by-step thing that you are doing right now, and you should be so incredibly proud of yourself because it takes work. It is easy to just fold and allow a situation to take over and control you and make you angry and make you bitter. That is the easiest thing in the world to do. It is much harder to look at yourself, look at your circumstance, and have to cry and manage your emotions and then help yourself logically and working on your mental state and working on your mindset. Like, it's a lot of work that you're doing. So you definitely have to give yourself grace while you're in this process. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If this video did resonate with you, please click that like button. Share it with someone who you think might need this little bit of education or encouragement. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos. I'm rooting for you. I know you're going to get over this. I know you're going to move on. And if you need anything, please comment down below in the comment section. That's where I am the first hour after I post all of my videos. You can also catch me on social media and get kind of up to date and latest of what's going on, what we're offering, and what we're working on. I hope you are well and healthy, and I know you're going through a lot, but believe me, hang in there, you're not alone.